What are spiritual disciplines? Well, the truth is that verbiage doesn't appear in the New Testament anywhere. And I'm not so sure that we've got the right idea when we use that terminology. Let's think about it. Imagine your parents go on a trip and they're long gone now. They've been across the Atlantic for quite some time and they write you a letter. Now that letter has been delivered and it's sitting on your kitchen counter, and there it sits for weeks and months, and finally they call you wondering what's up. They haven't heard from you in so long, and you say, "Mom, Dad, I didn't want to read your letter, but don't worry. I've been disciplining myself to really get to it. And I've got an accountability group and they're going to help me make sure that I read that letter." Now, that could be pretty hurtful to your parents, right? They might get the wrong idea. Why does this kid not want to read a letter from his parents simply updating him on what's up with their trip? So, do you see what we've done with reading the Bible? We turn it into a spiritual discipline, and next thing you know, it kind of insinuates that we don't really want to do it, but we've got to discipline ourselves to do it. And here's what I believe has happened. We've been hit over the head with the idea that we gotta read and ought to read and should read and better read, to the point that, well, we're just so tired of hearing that, we rebel against it. And because we're repelled by such a notion, we end up deciding, you know what, I can't live up to the standard of a quiet time, a devotional, an early morning rise in order to read the Bible at 5 a.m. on my knees, praising God. And so we get that mentality in our heads that there's a standard, a benchmark to live up to, and then we simply give up. This could be the product of so-called spiritual disciplines being pushed so adamantly. Maybe it's the same thing with prayer. I mean, imagine saying to your parents, "I don't really want to talk to you, but don't worry, I'm going to be disciplining myself to talk to you today." That's an insult, right? What if we just talk to God because we want to? What if we allowed ourselves to give from the heart and love from the heart and even live from the heart and pray from the heart? What if God puts His desires within us for a reason, so that we can wake up every single day, learn who we are in Jesus Christ, and then simply be ourselves, with no benchmark to hit, no standard to worry about, simply living in an atmosphere of grace, inspired by God's Spirit living in us. That's what so-called Bible study should really look like, and that's what prayer should really be about. Talking to Dad, getting into His Word to be encouraged by His love and His forgiveness and His grace. After all, what's not to like about that? So maybe, just maybe, the enemy has done a number on us, causing us to push each other so hard in these areas that many people rebel against them, thinking they can never meet that spiritual standard. But what if we freed people up and showed them the benefits of good food, the joy in talking to Dad, the incredible reasons that we would want to dig into God's Word and find freedom and life in Jesus? Now, those are true motivations, right? So at the end of the day, let's trust in God's grace, and let's recognize the new covenant actually works. It's not Jesus plus spiritual disciplines. It's Jesus Christ plus nothing. His life lived in you. His life lived through you. That's the best motivation of all.